Good morning, friends. Welcome back to another exciting day in Empires and Puzzles. And of course, we've got a brand new portal to go over. It is going to be the Beowulf portal today, and it is bringing us a brand new hero in Hygd. Hygd, I guess. I mean, that's a little bit different, missing a vowel there. I guess Y sometimes counts as a vowel, right? Okay, so let's move into this. What do we got here? We've got ourselves a cleric type, is going to be a dark hero, and it is going to be of the Beowulf family. A reminder of what the Beowulf family does for a family bonus. There's a bonus for 1 or 2 heroes, and it gives plus 75% or 100% chance to cleanse a random cleansable status ailment from all allies when this character receives damage from an enemy special skill. This effect can activate only once per turn. This is a pretty cool ability. Anytime they take damage from special skills, they're going to be cleansing your entire team for the latest cleansable status element. So, I mean, it's a nice way to keep your team removed of the debuffs, and you don't even really have to do much except take a stray hit here or there to get this dispelling effect in. So I do enjoy that. Then down in the passes department, of which we will have 3, we have mana on buff received. This character will gain 5% mana when they receive a buff or positive stack. Then we have empowered resist mana reduction. This character is immune to mana reduction. They also gain 600 boosted health and 10% mana when they resist. So very helpful to have that resist against mana reduction on this type of character. And then we also have resist buff blocking. This character is immune to effects that could block them from receiving new buffs and status effects. So there's no way to stop her from getting buffed up either. It's not necessarily as important, but still a cool effect as well. All right. In our Aether Power department, we have Defense Up. Defense Up is going to give her that plus 20% defense for the first 6 turns, making her a bit tankier. That can be very useful as well. And down here in the Specials department, we get Generous Gifts. Operating at average speed, she's going to cleanse status ailments from all allies, then recover, is that 50% health for all allies? Yeah, I think that's 50% health. There we go. And Source of Buffs, the following effects are cast on all allies at the start of each turn. Oh, okay. That's very interesting. I think it's important to point out that it says all allies. Previous to this, I think we were buffing one ally at a time. This time we're going to go ahead and do all of them. Each turn they'll get plus 40% defense against special skills for 2 turns and plus 40% increase to healing received for 2 turns. The source of buffs will activate 3 times. Each attempt to dispel it removes 1 activation. Okay, so that's similar, but what's new there is the source of buffs affecting the entire party at once. Very interesting. Okay, so let's talk about what this character is all about. Do we like them? Are they worth it? Will they score well? All that fun jazz. So we'll start out with the fact that both the passives and the family buff for this, family is very, very strong. Beowulf has some really cool stuff. The cleansing on taking special damage. Then you have the mana received on buff, so each time they get a buff, they're going to receive mana. That does play in well with the fact that each turn she's going to be buffing herself with the source of ailments. So you will be getting at least a 5% mana boost after she's cast her special each turn. And then you have the empowered mana resist mana reduction. So like even if they do try to take out her mana, she's actually only getting stronger. More boosted health, more mana, 10% mana gained per attempt. So great hero to take up against things like Fergus and various other mana cut abilities. Then we also get resist buff blocking. This one is fine. I don't know if it's as impactful, but they won't be able to stop her from getting her own source of buffs. So she's always going to end up getting that plus 40% defense against special skills and the increased ally healing. All right, so with that in mind, like you just get a very, very, very nice passives and family bonus package out of this hero. As for the healing itself, here's where things get interesting, right? So it's a priority dispel. So we're cleansing all status ailments from all allies. So any buff, any heal reductions, etc., that are out there are all going to get wiped out before she casts her heal. Priority cleansing before healing is actually not that common in heroes in the game. So this is what's going to make her a particularly useful healer. Also, the 50% healing she does to all allies is not on the higher side of things, but I do want to point out that the source of buffs that she's going to put up from that point forward will increase the amount of healing allies receive. So the second time she casts her heal, as long as her source of buffs is up, it's going to heal for significantly more. It's also great to cast this hero and then follow up with a secondary healer. Think like Beowulf is a great example. Same family, right? So when Beowulf casts his special, he heals the entire party for 15%. Well, if this thing is in effect and it's increasing all healing received by 40%, you're actually going to be healing for closer to like 21% instead of 15. So you're going to get the extra healing in there and making, Beowulf more significant, or any other like damage / healer that you have. You are going to increase their effectiveness by 40% thanks to her source of buffs, as long as they follow up the turn after, because she does cast her stuff at the beginning of the turn, or the source of buffs at the beginning of the turn. So the average speed is not amazing, but due to the ways that she has to increase her mana, I think she'll be functioning at a reasonable speed. I do think that this person is going to be a headache to deal with at times. Where would I rate them, though, right? Like, that's what I'm kind of mulling around in my head right now. Where would I rate this hero? On a scale of 1 to 10, I'd say she is probably an 8. I think the reality is I would have put her a little higher, but her defense stat, 1720, actually 1720 is not bad. I always forget that they go pure attack stat here. So like that doesn't necessarily have to be 1720. If you took the points out of attack, which clearly she's not really going to be utilizing well, let's figure she's probably closer to like 1900 defense, somewhere around there. So like her defense rating is fine. She might make an interesting tank option due to the fact that she has very reasonable health and defense. She'll do the priority cleansing and the heals, and then she'll get the buffs up a little bit faster. The question is, does she do enough to make a tank spot for your team? That is the real question. So I don't know. I'm going to leave her at an 8. After we see her play out, I think there's a possibility she might be a 9. The priority cleanse before healing is so nice. Like that might make her worthy of being a 9 alone. So I'll tell you what, I say this with a grain of salt. I'm putting her at an 8 for above average and good healer. But maybe I'm underrating her. I did that recently with the fast purple healer from Winterfall, Noelle. And yeah, so like, I mean, the reality is I'm not always going to hit dead on the mark on here, but I do think she's still a very good hero. An 8 is a good score. I'm just questioning whether I'm underrating that priority cleanse a little bit too much. But either way, if you pull her, congratulations. Definitely level her up. She's going to be a fantastic healer to add to your roster. And with that in mind, if you like what I do, remember there's a little button at the bottom right. You can click on that. I do apologize for the yawning this morning. Again, I do these things first thing in the morning, and today my family is still asleep, and I am trying not to wake anyone up, so I'm sitting in the dark out here. I do not think that helped me. But anyway, regardless of that, we'll see you next time, folks.